Welcome to Plastic Model Mojo, a podcast dedicated to scale modeling as well as the news and events around the hobby. Let's join Mike and Kentucky Dave as they strive to be informative, entertaining, and help you keep your modeling mojo alive.
Welcome to episode 153 of Plastic Model Mojo. I told you in the 12-minute model sphere it's going to be a casual month, and here it is. It's already the 13th of the month, and we're just kicking out our first feature episode, Dave.
Yeah, well, it's December, man. It's between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're lucky if we find time.
The weather's been a little frosty for this time of year.
Man.
Already.
Yep.
For us, anyway.
Yep. Yep, those guys up in Minnesota are used to this. It should not be like this in Kentucky.
Well, it is. So, given that fact, what's up in your model sphere, Dave?
Well, Christmas threw up all over my hobby. The dark time has arrived, which means that I have been spending a lot of time with non-model related stuff, but I have managed to get to the bench a couple hours a week, not making the progress that I want. Now, with Christmas approaching, my family is, of course, asking me what I want for Christmas. So I have been able to suggest a few books and decal sheets and maybe a squadron gift card that would come in handy. So there is that. Plus, we both talked about how one of the great parts of doing this podcast is all the people and friends we've met. And one of the nice things is this time of year, everybody reaching out to exchange holiday greetings, etc. So I've gotten to exchange DMs and phone calls and texts with a lot of our modeling friends, just connecting, reconnecting, wishing everybody holiday cheer. So my model sphere's okay. It could get better. It's going to get better. I swear it. I'm going to make it happen, but it's not awful. And I'd be ungrateful if I wasn't happy.
Well, you did pretty good last year, so.
Yes, I did. I'm not sure I'm going to do as good this year. We'll see.
Well, it's early. We're still at the front end of this dark period for you.
Yes, we are. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I've been looking at all the listener mail coming in and just looking at a lot of stuff that's been related to the last 3 episodes we dropped.
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting. I'd like to say we planned this out this way, but,
no,
but that would not be truthful. We did plan 150 with Paul Budzik. That topic was selected, and we let his process get a little farther down the road before we actually brought him on the show to talk to him about it. And we did that. And then we hit some similar topics in our shop talk in 151 and 152. I think, Tim Nelson came on the show and also had a lot to say that incidentally tied into all that.
Yep. Resonated with a lot of people.
Yes, that's what well put. It's resonated with a lot of people. And I just was really happily surprised by all that. We hit a home run there.
Well, good. Yeah, we're closing out strong.
We are.
We opened 2025 pretty strong, and we're closing it out strong.
We are. So that's the good news.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know, man. I just getting ready for the holidays like you and squeezing in what I can.
Well, we'll talk about that in the Benchtop halftime report. Meanwhile, if we're recording, especially in the holiday season, I'm assuming you have a modeling fluid handy.
I do. I've got some Michter's straight bourbon whiskey.
Nice choice. Nice choice.
We may have featured it a long time ago, but it's come back around.
Well, good.
So I'm enjoying a little bit of that tonight. Not too much.
Well, the funny thing is their home offices are like 4 blocks from my office. I pass by their place all the time when I go in downtown to work. So I've got Terminus Tangerine Kolsch from Yellowhammer Brewing in Huntsville, Alabama. Our friend Mr. Clark kindly supplied this to us at the Nationals, and I'm finally getting around to being able to have it.
Well, we got a lot, so you've had to chip away at the stack and make that one happen finally.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Well, good.
All right, Mike, do we have any listener mail?
We have a ton of listener mail.
That's always good.
It is. Some of it still, again, is related to the last 2 or 3 episodes, so we may just hit the very core of those, but we'll go through most of this. We've really gotten a lot, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
You got it.
Up first is our friend Mark Doremus.
Okay.
Mark's got quite a bit to say about what their club does, so we're going to save that part of his email for the feature we're going to do, or the short we're going to do on club activities.
Gotcha.
But his 2 cents on episode 150, he says he remembers Paul Budzik's articles in Fine Scale Modeler. He says, wow, the dental acrylic turning ball turrets on a mini lathe. I thought he was just a crazy old guy. Turns out he's only 3 years older than I am, so I guess he's not so old after all. He wishes Paul a happy retirement.
I think a lot of us who've been in the hobby a while and who remember when fine scale was at its peak, a lot of us associate the peak of fine scale with those articles.
Yeah.
Because I would argue that was the peak of fine scale.
You may be right, and it certainly was a big influence on me. We've talked about that before. Next up, Dave, is Michael Aluzzi from Peoria, the Jack Weislich chapter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And he mentioned the Super Modelers quiz for getting rid of old kits, I think the last time he wrote in.
Uh-huh.
And he just wanted to write in, and he sent a picture about the joy he gets seeing the kit that had been in his stash forever finally displayed built at a club meeting.
That is a good feeling. One that that you've fallen out of love with, and you passed it on to somebody who loved it and was inspired enough by it to build it. That is a really good feeling.
Well, his club member and friend, John Lubers, picked up his dusty, stash, forsaken Revell 48 scale Doolittle Raider.
Uh-huh.
And got it finished.
All right.
Brought it to their club meeting. So
that's an older kit too. That's one, that's not only is that one that you've fallen out of love with, but that's a senior status kit. Those are always nice to see built.
It's kind of like adopting a dog.
Exactly. You're right. Go in there and adopt the old dog at the shelter, not the new one.
Larry Donovan from New Brighton, Minnesota, up in Hustad's neck of the woods, I think.
Yeah.
Has written in, and just another one. Episode 150 and 151 just really resonated with him. He's 69 years young, he says, and all this is helped move him toward getting rid of stuff, paring down to what he knows he's going to build and what he really wants to build. And he's taking a similar approach with his tools and stuff. And he's just working on the disposition of this stuff and tightening things up in his later years so he can focus on building and enjoying the hobby the way he wants to, instead of feeling obligated to all this stuff he got stacked around.
Yep. It becomes a burden to you at some point. And I think that doing a stash and hobby colonic every once in a while is not a bad idea.
From the UK, Dave, Addingham, West Yorkshire in the UK.
Okay.
Neil Godden. He says Al Murray is a modeler, and maybe we need to talk about him getting on the show.
I'll have to. It wouldn't hurt to reach out.
Didn't On the Bench have him on, actually?
They may have. I don't know.
A long time ago.
That's a good question.
I don't know if they did or not, but
I think they may have.
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
Next, we got Oliver Monchan from Montreal in Quebec, up in Canada. Bet he's cold.
Yeah, I'll bet.
He's got a couple of questions. One of them's directed at you.
Okay.
He's been back in modeling it for about 10 years, primarily military subjects like many of us. He says he enjoys working in many scales in many genre, but he says he rarely builds 72nd aircraft, and he never builds 48 scale armor. He's just curious if you haven't answered this already on the show, your proclivity for 72nd scale.
Well, a couple of things. One, it was the scale of my youth when I first got into modeling. 72nd scale was the predominant scale. This is back in the 70s. In addition, and I've said this on a number of occasions, if you haven't listened to the entire back catalog of our podcasts, if you have, then you're going to already know what I'm going to say. One, 72nd scale provides you the widest possible set of subjects to build. I can build everything from a 72nd scale World War II fighter, a P-51, or a ME-109 or a Zero, all the way up to one of these hulking German 6-engine experimental transports or low production transports, and everything in between. And not only that, displaying them isn't hard because of the fact that they are still compact enough that you could build a number of them and you're not going to run out of display room anytime soon.
Famous last words.
Yeah, right.
What's better? That's better than a joke about you not run out of space because you don't have many finished builds, right?
That's right. And I've said this about going to the Nationals or any contest for that matter. When you go to the 48 scale single engine World War II aircraft category, it is 109, 109, 109, 190, Zero, P-51, P-47, Corsair, Hellcat, Wildcat, and the repeat of the same aircraft. Whereas in 72nd scale, because there is such a wider variety of available good kits, you'll see people with, French Diwatines or Hawk 75, to give a recent example, or, stuff that you just don't, you're going to see things in 72nd scale that you're not going to see elsewhere. And I'm a little bit of a scale adherent in that I've said this before, I'll build anything, or I'll at least purchase, hopefully build anything in 72nd scale, from a Roman trireme to a German World War II mini sub to whatever. I like the constant scale, the ability to compare the size of the item. I know that in relation, a P-51 in relation to a modern Japanese deep sea diving vehicle, I can put the two things next to each other, and because it's a constant scale, I can see how they can compare. And for me, I like that. So in a nutshell, those are the main reasons I'm a 72nd scale enthusiast.
Well, makes sense to me.
Good.
Well, then he goes on, and he thought this would make a good topic for a show. It is a good question. I'll say that. It gets into, you've pared down your stash, and he did. He cleaned up his stash. But there's all these new kits coming out.
Yes.
And now, after his cleanup, he's got more than when he started the cleanup. So his question is generally, how do you resist the temptation to keep buying? That's a tough one.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I'm going to recommend that you resist the temptation.
You kind of got a different approach.
Because part of the joy of, the new Arma Hawk 75 or the upcoming Arma ME-262, even if I've got 500 other kits in my stash, the acquisition of those new kits, even if I'm not going to put them on the bench right away, there is some enjoyment in acquiring them and examining them, etc., and knowing you have them in the stash so that you can build it. I do want to recommend that people pare down their stashes and try and keep them reasonable and all, among other things, not to be a burden to our families when we're gone. But it is undeniable that a part of the joy of this hobby is the acquisition of a brand new model that we're really interested in. And that's part of the hobby, and I don't particularly see a problem with it.
Well, personal finances aside, I guess.
Yes,
I would
right.
I would agree. But you've been like, you'll buy this new Hawk,
Right.
but you've probably got 7 old Hawks in your kit, in your stash.
Probably about 5, and I'm getting rid of those. Yeah.
So that's one way to
That's
do
a
it.
good trade. You're right. That's a good trade.
So that's one approach. And another thing you might consider, if you can get over the impulse to buy it, most of this stuff from a major manufacturer is going to be out there to buy when you know you're going to build it.
Right.
So there's that too. I don't know if these are good answers or not, Dave, but
well, there's no right answer.
There's no right answer. We buy kits and we sell kits, and
yeah,
it ebbs and flows. And if it trends downward, that's a good thing.
No, I agree.
Up next is James Mirando he's from the wine country of California, and they've renamed their club. I think it was IPMS Santa Rosa. Mm-hmm. Now it's Wine Country Modelers or something to that effect.
I like that.
And they are gearing up for their next. Well, this was Wine Country Model Expo, and it's going to be another exhibition style format with an open system. This isn't happening until April, and we talked to these guys last year,
right?
Or earlier, I guess this year, back in the spring, for their first show in this kind of format, and maybe we'll talk to them again. But I was just glad to hear from him again, and to see that it was enough of a success that they're going to expand on this thing.
No, I agree.
So stay tuned, folks. We'll have more from the Wine Country Model Expo when we get a little closer, but that's not till early spring. So it's going to be a little bit.
We got a lot of winter to get through.
We do. Well, John McAvoy writes in, Dave, and he just wanted to thank us and Tim for mentioning him with regards to Fusion 360 and the design work he's been helping Tim with and the 3D printing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that was no problem. I mean, Tim's the one that mentioned you, really.
Well, and that's a wonderful example. And again, you've heard me say this before. In general, one of the great things about modelers is their willingness to share information, techniques, something that they know that you don't, something they've got experience with, whether it being soldering photo etch or CAD design. With rare exception, modelers are, you ask a question, hey, how do you do this? Or what did you do? And you will get just a wealth of information. Because modelers are, in my experience, really good folks. And that applies to John particularly.
Well, he's noticed all our postings and comments about the interleaf sheet in the Aldi prosciutto.
Yes.
And he pointed out that Tamiya actually sells, they call it plastic paper or PLA paper. It's a 0.05 of a millimeter stock, so it's like 0.00. It's like 15 thousandths. So it's probably what it is. It's probably just interleaf film. But it's polystyrene. He says he doesn't know if it's available in the U.S., but it is available on eBay. I've seen it.
Okay.
So you can get it that way, too, if you don't like prosciutto.
Oh, I love prosciutto, man.
And the sheets aren't that much bigger, really. So, if you want something really, really thin, look up Tamiya's ply paper. And if I can remember, I'll put it in the show notes. And it's certainly on eBay. It can be had on eBay. So.
But the nice thing about getting it in the prosciutto packs is you can feel good. Not only do you get to enjoy the prosciutto, and who doesn't love prosciutto, but you can feel good about yourself that you are not contributing to the waste problem that we have by taking part of the packaging and repurposing it.
Yes, you can.
Yep.
Again, related to the past 3 episodes, I think particularly 152 with Tim. John Raymond writes in and says it's really helped him getting past making everything perfect.
That's good. That is a constant struggle. And I really do think a lot of people who end up never finishing anything are struggling many times with that problem. It's not perfect, so I can't finish it.
That's right. What they say, perfection is a thief of joy.
That's right. The perfect is the enemy of the good.
There you go, folks. Well, we got a local Dave.
Okay.
Fellow Louisvillian Mike Hildebrand. Is he in the club?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he's written in. He's been helping a friend with his in-scale train layout, even though he's a 35th scale armor guy. So
there is massive crossover between trains and modeling.
Trains and armor, particularly. I think he's figured that out and is enjoying that. He's got an interview suggestion that we are going to take under advisement, and he's got some, I guess these are podcasts. I'll send you these.
Okay.
And they're just, well, what is this here? Max Miller.
Oh, yes. Tasting history.
Peaches and chartreuse jelly.
Oh, one of his better ones.
Yeah, he says that's a good one.
Max Miller runs a YouTube channel called Tasting History.
Okay.
Where he does recipes throughout history. I think I may have mentioned him before.
Well, you did last episode.
Yeah. Just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. In fact, our friend Dr. Geldmacher just for Thanksgiving made one of his recipes.
Hope it turned out.
It did. He said his wife didn't like it. Was the Indian pudding episode.
Oh, yeah. That's the one you mentioned.
And Dr. Geldmacher tried it. He said he enjoyed it, but his wife did not like it. So
it gets
mixed results.
We'll get scratched from next year's menu.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tom Karen again from Cairns, Utah. And again, Tim Nelson interview and the other two also resonated with him. I think he wrote in after 50 and 51 as well. The time is now to tackle those kits he's been putting off.
Yes, it is.
It's like I talked about in the What's Up in Your Model Sphere segment at the front end of the episode. It's really been surprising. Maybe it shouldn't be surprising. It's really been nice that those 3 episodes hit home with so many people. And
it really is.
Actually, Paul Budzik did send us a thank you note for that. And he was really appreciative of the fact that, the episode he was in had resonated, but then we went on for the next 2 and then they have as well. And, it does mesh with the demographic of the hobby. So really, really interested a lot of people, and it's been great to see it.
And guys, it's nice for Mike and I to know when we've done a particular episode that's hit home for you, that's been not just your average episode, but one of particular interest. So we really appreciate you DMing or emailing to let us know that.
And another one from the Peoria area, our friend Tom Choi. He may have posted this on the dojo, but he wrote in as well. There was a listener had written in about how to do the prismatic glass in modern AFVs.
Yeah.
And we had some suggestions, but Tom sent this in. I guess at some of the craft stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby, there's this holographic vinyl sheet.
Yep.
It's a blue-green sheet and a red-gold sheet, and he says they're pretty much the exact colors of the real thing, and the sheets are really cheap, and there's enough on a sheet for just as many tanks as you're probably ever going to build.
And you know what? I constantly find myself when I'm out shopping in an area, the wife's at Target or whatever, walking over and walking into a Hobby Lobby or Michael's and just walking up and down the aisles and going, I might be able to use that for this. No, it is amazing how much non-modeling focused stuff you can find just walking around Michael's and Hobby Lobby and places like that.
Oh yeah, it's easy to
Same
do.
goes with hardware stores.
I don't do too much at the hardware stores.
Well, the hardware stores are a disappearing breed.
Well, Dave, that's all I've got for email. That's not folks suggesting topics or guests or things like that. So what's the direct message scene look like?
Not bad. Got a number of direct messages. If you'll remember, last episode we did Faves and Yawns, and I mentioned the company First to Fight
Yep.
was releasing a Polish river patrol boat called a KM-12.
Yeah, I went and looked it up. It looked like a pretty cool subject.
Well, Inch High went one better. And of course, Inch has enough reference on everything that you can't mention something naval without getting a ton of information. Well, Inch sent me information and a link to a Facebook post with more information about what the KM-12 was, that it was a riverine patrol craft on a particular river in Poland, and it was used a lot for communication on the river, and just more information than you would ever want or need about the thing. And I'll tell you what, after reading what he sent me, I'm even more interested in this kit.
Of course.
So, and that's what Inch does. He pushes, man. He'll get you hooked hard.
So have you got one yet?
Not yet. I don't know if they're out yet.
Oh, okay.
I have not looked to see if they're out yet, but they're coming soon.
I'm sure Jeff will let you know when it's available.
I'm sure he will.
Where to get it?
Or he's placing an order. Do you want me to throw one on for you?
Yeah, that's probably more likely.
Yeah. Our friend Mark Copeland is just back from 7 weeks in Europe, where he's been doing tours for the Mighty Eight Museum, and he's already planning the 2026 tours, but he's back in the States now, and he managed to come up with a photo of the new box art for the new Arma ME-262, and he sent it to me knowing that I was interested, and man, am I interested. I just love the 262, and every current kit out there has issues. I mean, some of them not that big a deal, but to see a new kit by a manufacturer like Arma and this box art is awesome. So thank you, Mark. You definitely fed the beast. I'm going to be picking up one as soon as they're out. Next, I mentioned previously that a number of our listeners, when they encounter a new beer, will send me a DM just to let me know. So, hey, I've got this and I enjoyed it or I didn't or whatever. Brian Bennett sent me a photo that was a combo. One, he was just about to start the old Tamiya SAS Jeep kit. You remember that one?
Yep.
And he had paired it with a Juicy Oasis IPA, which, first of all, really liked the fact that he got Oasis and an SAS Jeep together. B, he said that it reminded him a little bit of a creamsicle, which led me to mention that Country Boy Brewing in Lexington has a dreamsicle beer.
Yeah.
And then just led into a whole discussion about that. He said it was surprisingly good. So I may have to find that beer. But it was just nice for him to reach out and to mention a beer that he was trying, particularly pairing it with a new modeling project. So it was just an enjoyable little exchange. Next, numerous listeners DM'd me. As you'll remember, the beer that I featured in the last episode, which it turns out was courtesy of Michael Grisabian, was Suffolk Pride. And I said Suffolk Pride. And numerous listeners, mostly those in the UK, DM'd me to let me know that it's not Suffolk, but Suffolk. And in fact, a couple of members actually sent audio clips from news reports or whatever where native British speakers are saying Suffolk. So I have learned, and from now on, if I'm referring to it, it's Suffolk.
Always learning.
Always learning. Hey, you got Guelph down. There's hope for us all.
I did.
A DM I got from a Facebook listener, Keller Modeler is what the Facebook the Facebook entity goes by, is Keller Modeler. And he had a guest suggestion, and I'm not going to mention it because it's a good suggestion. I'm going to reach out and we'll go from there. But I do want to bring it up only to mention that we really do appreciate when listeners say, hey, I have a suggestion for you for a topic or a guest or something to do differently in the show. And Mike and I really do want that kind of input. So I appreciate this person reaching out. I really like his particular suggestion. And for those of you out there listening, please do make those suggestions. Listener Bill McCullough had heard me talking about repeatedly about my organizational mess that is my model bench and all. And he sent in a suggestion for a product. It's an organizer by a company called Bucasso, Bucasso, for a hobby desk organizer item. And I really appreciate that. Again, when people hear me talking about struggles, if you've got suggestions for dealing with the struggles I'm dealing with, I really, really appreciate that. So thank you. And finally, listener Ron Smith heard you and myself and Tim Nelson talking about dazzle camouflage.
Yeah.
And this is apparently a subject that Mr. Smith is A, very passionate about, and B, knows a ton about. And so he sent in a multi-part DM regarding dazzle camouflage and the fact that there were it wasn't all black and white, that there were different color palettes, and he's actually working with Squadron to try and to get them to release the colors that were used for these dazzle camouflages. And I've asked him to take what he sent in the DM and turn it into a post on the dojo. And he says he's going to do that. And I really appreciate that. Anytime we discuss something that you have a particular knowledge of, please share that. And the dojo is a great place to do that. So that, and I don't mind somebody saying, hey, you said this, but it actually turns out that. I'm all for people providing information, particularly if it's a subject they're passionate about, and so they know a lot more than I would ever possibly know about it. So I appreciate Mr. Smith reaching out, and I appreciate him agreeing to post that on the dojo. So hopefully by the time this episode's out, you'll be able to go look on the dojo and find it.
That's your last one?
That's my last one.
Oh, man, we've had a lot.
I know.
Well, folks, we appreciate it. And I think we've had less than that before, and I've actually used it for an entire episode of listener mail way back in 20 or 21.
Yep.
Might have to consider that again, Dave.
Yep, I agree.
Well, while we're making that decision, please keep the email coming and the direct messages. You can send email to plasticmodelmojo@gmail.com, or you can direct messages through the Facebook messenger system. We love the feedback. And there's also a feedback link in the show notes of this episode and on the website. You can send a message that way as well. So always looking forward to it. Maybe we'll get off this 150, 151, 152 bubble we've been on, but I really appreciate all the feedback from those 3 episodes. It's been really interesting, to be honest.
Yes, it has.
Dave, we are getting close to the end of the year.
Yes, we are.
And given this episode is just you and I, it's going to be a shop talk kind of thing, but just kind of the year in review. We've done this in the past, and we've got a few bullets here to work through. But, well, first off, I can't believe we're about to put the bow on our 6th year doing this.
Yeah, I know.
It's a long time, man.
I know. And does it seem like we've been doing it for 6 years?
No.
It doesn't to me.
It does not.
It really doesn't. And this year went by so quick. I mean, it really, really did.
Well, there's more at play there than a podcast that's making that happen.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And folks, everything you hear is true. The older you get, the faster the years pass. Absolutely 100%.
That's sure
true.
The way it seems on my end, man.
Oh, it's getting, wait till you get to my age, brother. Blink of an eye.
Yeah. Well, 2025, outside of the hobby for me has been a dumpster fire. But this has kept me grounded and given me a place to escape to and people to talk to or who weren't involved with all my other issues.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to them. What do you think, man? How was 2025? Well, I mean, for the show, we didn't quite get to nearly as many places as 24.
Although we did not do bad.
No.
Now, keep in mind, I got some shows you didn't get to.
Right.
But overall, we did better than I think we thought we might at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think so. We did pretty good. We got around a little bit. We went to the big ones, except amps.
Yes.
We didn't get to amps.
We did not get to amps. It just didn't work for us. But on the upside, amps is coming to us in 2026.
Yeah, more or less, you're right. So,
and I can't tell you how much I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoyed 2024's Amps National, and this year 2026 promises to be bigger and better.
Well, we've accomplished a lot with the show this year. We got the website.
We got
the website launched. We didn't quite get as far as we wanted to with it, but
right.
Give us something to do in 2026, I guess.
That's right. And it's getting, we can tell from the back end metrics, it's getting more and more utilization, and we want to add more and more functionality to it. So
yeah,
that just costs time and money, and both of those things are in short supply.
And I think we've weathered all the hiccups that not just us, not just Scale Modeling Podcast, but podcasting in general have weathered over the last year to 18 months. And I think the fog is lifted on that, all the Apple shenanigans, I guess, on the way they measure things and the way they changed it. And then the demise of Google Podcasts and having to make things up on the YouTube side, which is kind of a crappy platform for audio podcasts. But the ship has been righted and we're pointing in the right direction. And I'm looking forward to 2026.
I am looking forward to 2026. It's so bright a horizon. Now, hopefully it's not the headlight of an oncoming train, but there's so many positives in 2026, be it amps in South Bend or the Nationals in Fort Wayne. March and Heritage Con's not that far away.
No.
There are a bunch of new kits coming out. While my modeling did not turn out to be quite as productive as I wanted, it was, I'd say, more productive than 2024. And so it's moving in the right direction. and I can see a bright future for 2026. So hopefully that isn't the headlight of an oncoming train, and hopefully it's going to turn out to be what I think it's going to be, which is the best year yet.
Well, I certainly hope so. And something you said there is a good transition over to what we did get done this year. You've had a good year.
Yes, I did. I've got 2 completions, the German Seehund and the F8F.
But you're dang close on at least one more, maybe 2.
Well, 2 more.
Yeah.
The Sam and the Hellcat are both in paint and decals, and they just need to be finished off. I doubt, given the timeline, that I'm going to finish either one in December, but January is a possibility for one or both. And it's a nice springboard into 2026 where there's plenty of stuff out there. There's all these new kits coming out. One of the things about clearing out your stash or going through your stash and paring it down is it kind of focuses the mind on what you want to build. And Tim Nelson was right in talking about building models that you really want to build, not putting them off till you get better. And one of my mottos of 2026 is going to be to do that. So I am optimistic. Now, maybe it's crazy to be optimistic, but nevertheless, I'm optimistic about 2026.
Well, you did better than me.
Well, it's not better. We don't judge it that way.
Well, that's true.
You had fun modeling.
I did. I had a lot of fun. I got the E16 done finally.
Yes. And it looks beautiful.
I'm very happy with it. I learned a lot of stuff doing that project. You know, once it got moving, I guess a surprise would be once I really started painting it.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't take that long.
Yep.
I mean, maybe it took longer than some of our listeners out there who are some fine modelers, but it kept moving. I kept it moving because I want to get it done, and I got it done, and I'm really, really happy with it. And man, I can't overstate it. Just because I hadn't built an aircraft in so long.
I was going to say,
and because I picked something that was probably not wise for my first one after having not built one for so long. At least it wasn't a rigged underframe float plane.
Yeah, true enough.
I mean,
and it was also something you were enthused about, and that really did allow you to finish the project. So maybe it wasn't the simplest choice for your first aircraft in forever, but it was something you were interested in.
And I've traveled a little bit, and I've shown it to the folks that I most wanted to see it. So it's for me to admire now.
Well, you took it to the Nationals and had it at our table. A lot of people got to stop by and see it.
That's right.
And you got a lot of very nice comments about it. And one of the neat things is you learned a lot. I mean, this whole thing started because you wanted to make you wanted to do a set of photo etch, homebrew photo etch. And then it just grew out of there.
There had to be more to it than that. I mean, that certainly is part of it, but that in itself wouldn't make me pick a 72nd scale float plane.
Yeah.
I got a photo etched a lot of stuff.
I'd like to think that I was at least part of it.
You probably were. And there's also, you know, I had probably a long time, but what to say, deeply repressed interest in that kind of a subject from, you know, my youth.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you clearly have a thing for float planes. And catapults.
I do. I like it. I think they're really cool. I've always liked, when I was building aircraft as a kid, it was always naval related. The carrier planes, you know, I was watching the Pacific War mostly. It really was. So it kind of got me back to that again. So there's a little nostalgia there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the next float plane will be. We'll talk about lists here in a little bit, but there's not one on it.
That's okay.
You know, other things, the the little paper Panzer I've been working on, that's some of the major assemblies are in primer now, and I kind of pushed that to the back burner until I really want to get the KV85 in paint before I pick anything up in construction again, other than this Moosaroo Cup thing I'm working on. And it's not that tough, really. It just doesn't have that many parts. So, I've got the E16 done. KV85 is, we'll talk about it more at the benchtop halftime report, but it's lurching forward. And the other one's just kind of in a holding pattern until I get something done. Cause I think for me, 3 is probably too many.
Well, can you think of in 2025, can you think of stuff you learned?
Oh yeah.
Or things that you
absolutely
that you well, one of the things that I can think of is I'm experiencing my second experience with decals by Furball Aero Design.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you that both of the experiences have been fantastic. And it's really nice to learn that, okay, I can count on if I buy one of these decal sheets or I go to use one on a project, I'm not going to have a problem.
So we can trust the Model Geek sponsors.
We can trust the Model Geek sponsors.
I knew we could. Number
2 is in 2025, one of the things I wanted to concentrate on was rescribing and re-engraving. And I made great progress in doing that. And I feel like I got better at it, which, that's one of the things as far as my hobby. I want to try and get better at techniques. And so if I feel like I made progress, I learned something, I got better, I count that as a success. So
sure.
For 2025, I really felt like I made progress in that respect. Additionally, I have made some steps to organizing and getting my stash pared down and getting my hobby life a little better organized. And finally, that I will say that in 2025, the impact of helping Jeff Groves Inch High with that widow up in Indianapolis and her late husband's books made a profound effect on me as far as coming to terms with my eventual mortality and not wanting to leave my hobby as a burden for my family. I learned a lot of things in 2025. I really did. I actually, those are things that I count as positive additions to what I know about the hobby. Did you experience any of that?
I did. Maybe not so much on that line as you did, but I probably would be wise to do that.
But did you learn new skills? Did you try? I know that you were talking about very recently about making jigs to make parts of a project easier.
I think in the last half of the year on the KV85 project, and we'll talk about more, in detail about what I've done over the last couple of weeks in the benchtop halftime report, but just getting back to modeling the way I have in the past, not to some stagnant point in my skill set, but that's not what I mean. I mean the detail and the methodical nature of doing things, and it really gets back to those old fine scales and having Paul being such a part of our show over the last couple of years. And the airplane was a diversion that I applied a little bit of that stuff to it, but the thing was just so fresh and new again, because I hadn't done it so long that I was having to relearn a lot of things. So I didn't get to apply my old methodologies to that project as much. So I think maybe the next aircraft will be more along those lines, but certainly this KV85, it's just, I'm comfortable in it now.
And that's a good thing.
And I'm comfortable to a point that I don't mean comfort zone.
Right.
I mean that I'm being very methodical. I know what I need to do. I think it through. If it needs something set up a certain way to do it, I take the time to do that first. I'm not taking many chances on construction problems. I'm thinking those through up front. And just historically, this, that's just the way I've done things.
Right.
And it's probably the biggest influence on my build pace as anything, because you do things that way, and then you have 2 kids are in college and got a job, and it just brings everything to a screeching halt. Almost.
You're shooting stuff into space, and I could see how that would get in the way of a hobby.
Because kind of backed in that mindset, that gets me to the happy place at my workbench that I want to be.
Could it be the synonym for confidence?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I've gotten very confident again, particularly in the last 6 months or so. Just things are coming back. It's weird. Things come back that you didn't know were missing.
Yeah.
But you botched up something, or mucked something up, and you're like, dude, just slow down. Just do it this way. You need to do it the way you used to do it.
Right. You know how to do this. You've
Yes.
done it before. Yep. Familiar with that.
So that's kind of, particularly the last half of 2025. That's where I've been. I'm looking forward to applying it to the next one. So I'm
good.
looking forward to moving forward.
Well, good.
Well, in the past, Dave, we've made lists.
Yes, we have.
Delusions of Grandeur.
Yep.
Comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
List of 10 things. I wanted to change that this year.
Okay.
I think I told you before 3. Gonna limit it to 3, and I cheated already.
Yeah, I did too.
Because I wanted 2 armor subjects and 2 aircraft on the list.
Okay.
So I'm at 4. I don't know how bad you cheated. I cheated.
I'm at 7.
I cheated by 1. You cheated by 4.
Yeah, I cheated by 4.
All right. So folks, the idea here is to have something that we have a snowball's chance in hell of actually pulling off.
Finishing.
Or
Yes.
at least starting even.
Right. And this doesn't include anything we've got currently in process.
No. And then the plan is that when we get to the new place where we can actually initiate a new project, it has to come off this list.
Exactly.
So I think I'm okay with that.
Yep, I am too.
All right. Well, who wants to do the first one?
Well, let's let you start.
I've got 2 armor subjects, and they're the same 2 that have been around a while since we started the podcast, Dave. I want to do this BM13 Katyusha on the ZIS 3 truck.
Yeah, that's a big project.
It is, but I've already got a lot of mental modeling into that one already. So that's one. It's a multi-kit, cross-kitting kind of thing. There's some.
Yeah, there's at least 3
kits.
involved.
There's some aftermarket, not a lot though, and there's some 3D print stuff that I've already done. Yeah, it's a subject I've long wanted to do, but I've never wanted to do it on a Lend-Lease truck.
Yeah.
So and that's where I'm at. So that's kind of my 2 top armor 35th scale contenders. That's the first one.
Well, and you mentioned something that we need to make a note for a future episode: mental modeling. I think that there's a lot to explore with mental modeling. So maybe make a note. We'll have a whole episode on that, or at least a benchtop or a shop talk subject on that.
I think that'll work.
All right. My first one is something that you and I and certain other modelers have been planning for the first of the year, is building the Special Hobby HE162. Which you and I both picked that kit up in, was it Madison, or did we pick it up in Hampton? No, Madison. No, Hampton.
Madison. I've had mine a year.
Okay, Madison. And you and I talked about buddy building that, and I would like to buddy build that with you along with a couple of our friends. And I think it would be a pretty good and not too difficult build. So I have a thing, while I'm not a huge Luftwaffe guy generally. I do have a particular interest in the end of the war technological weapons, jets, rockets, etc., mini subs, whatever. And that fits right into that in that particular collection subgenre. So the HE-162 is probably top of my list for 2026.
Okay. I guess for me, that one was going to be, I thought that further out, and there's something I want to do on the website with that.
Okay.
With that one.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to,
well, you and I will talk.
Doesn't have to be
it's
that way.
It's still on the list.
It's still on the list.
Yes.
So my next one, should I do my second armor one or do my first aircraft one?
Either one. It's up to you.
Let's jump to an aircraft project.
There are no rules here, buddy.
Maybe there should be.
Maybe there should be. Right.
I want to build a Gloucester Meteor F.1.
And thanks to Paul Gloucester, you can do that.
I can. Or a 3. He got me both of them this year.
Yes, I know. It was kind of him.
I want to do a jet, an early jet like that. Really interests me. Like you just mentioned, the end of war technology.
Yeah.
That's another one. It kind of falls into that category for the RAF. And it's, the lines are pretty simple, like most of the early jets.
Yep.
And I thought it would be a good one to do. And the history of the airplane interests me as well. So
yep.
For my aircraft, 72nd scale Meteor F1 is probably my primary choice right now.
Well, I've got an already built V1 that you can pair with it to do a little dogfight double.
What do you got next?
Next is a Airfix C-47, which I have wanted to build ever since the kit came out about 5-7 years ago, whatever. We had needed a new C-47, and Airfix answered the call with a really nice kit. And this year's September's group build or group entry for the Nationals, this will fit right into that. And so it's, again, another top of the list project to start soon as I get the 2 current ones that are almost done, finished off. That C-47 is going to jump up and hit the bench hard.
I wouldn't think that'd be too bad.
It's not. It is a very nice kit. The only downside is its size. For a twin-engined aircraft, it's a particularly large kit.
Well, it can't be larger than all these B-24s you want to build.
Yeah, well, that's true too. Let's not go
So
there.
what's going to be the
Indiana,
the step up on that one? What are you going to
I've got some aftermarket for it that I'm going to do, or at least I'm considering doing. There's some decals from an aftermarket manufacturer that I want to use. And thanks to Dr. Gelmacher, I've got a lot of information about a particular aircraft that was flown by an individual who supplied a lot of the information for the build. So it'll kind of be a nice mini tribute build to this person's father who actually flew the aircraft.
What context did he fly it?
He flew it with the Indiana Air National Guard.
Okay. So no D-Day bird, no.
No. In fact, it's going to be a really attractive silver and white.
Oh, okay. Like a cargo plane?
Yeah. It's most of the Air Guard units in the late 40s, 50s, and early 60s always had a couple of C-47s attached, simply to move squadron materials around or to act as a hack or a transport. And it's going to be a really pretty airplane.
All right. It's kind of outside your...
It's a little outside the normal, but I've been wanting to do this for quite a while.
All right.
So what's your next one?
Well, my number 2 armor subject would be Panzerwerfer 42 on the Maultier.
Okay.
I've got a lot of parts from a lot of kits to make what I want. There's a lot of aftermarket, just a big pile of stuff, and that sucker's ripe to get redone by somebody at any minute. Yeah. It could happen before we finish recording this podcast.
Yeah, or it could happen when you're halfway through the project, which is the more likely thing.
But I've just a very quirky kind of vehicle that I've always wanted to do, and I don't know why I've never done it. Probably waiting for some dumb reason.
No waiting around to get better. Build it. If you want to build it now.
So it's like a Nittilary kit from 1994 or 5 or something like that.
Yep.
And I think the Maultier chassis that it's on is even older than that. So I've kind of got this cross kit thing using a newer Dragon chassis and running gear.
Right.
I can make that fit, which I think shouldn't be too bad if everything's scaled close. And then I've got a lot of information for it because there's a surviving vehicle in France. I just think would be an interesting one to do. I've got, I've got so much stuff for that thing. It's all in the box too. So the box weighs like 3 pounds. And I just hate to see it all get obsoleted.
Yeah. At least not until you get at least into the project.
That's right. So that's my second armor one. What you got next?
My next one is a Aoshima N1K2J Japanese late war fighter. It's a really nice kit of a really attractive airplane. And I've got a ton of aftermarket. And this is one of those models that I have been planning for years as magnum opus build. And I'm turning 65 in 2026. If I'm going to build a magnum opus build, I better get the hell on with it. And I really like the way my SAM is turning out, and this will be a nice companion to it.
What are you going to do to it?
I've got an aftermarket engine. I've got a whole bunch of interior stuff. I've got photo etch flaps. There's just a ton. I mean, you could really open this sucker up. It also late war Japanese screams for weathering. And like I said, with the way the SAM has come along, it really, in fact, it will make a nice companion to both the SAM and to the Hellcat.
Yeah.
Because these things fought the Hellcats in 44 and 45. So it's one of those models that I'm not going to wait to get better. I need to get ahead and go on and build it. So I'm going to do it. And I need to model faster. We know I need to model faster.
Well, I guess my other plane's going to be the HE-162.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I don't want to be out here all alone.
So we'll have to think that one through a little bit.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have to talk about exactly how we're going to do that.
A good idea, at least a buddy build, but we've got some plans to make it even more than that. So,
yep, I know.
If this one percolates to the top, folks, you'll hear about it. And
yep.
You'll get to follow along. Well, I'm done. So what are your others that made the short?
I got recently the Great Wall Hobby MiG-29, the Humpback. And man, that kit is a marvel of engineering. I hope it goes together as well as it looks in the box, but it is just really, really attractive. And it's one of those models when you open it up and you look in it and you look at the detail and all of the slide molding and everything else they've done, you're like, yeah, I need to do this. So it goes from coming in 2 months ago to high up on the build list. I want to build an Edward 109G. Our friend Steve Hustad gave me a set of Hungarian decals for the 109. And from him singing the praises of that Edward 109G kit, I've got to say, it's inspired me to do it. And then I would like to also, not that I'm going to be able to fit all this in, I'd like to build a B-24 and I'd like to build another Tamiya Zero. But my eyes are definitely bigger than my stomach on all of that. But, a man's reach has to exceed his grasp, or what's the use of dreaming?
So true, Dave.
Yep.
Well, folks, that's our list. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll announce what we're going to start next. Maybe not too soon, or maybe sooner than later, I should say. I don't know.
We'll see.
If I get to KV to primer stage, I'm starting something new.
Yep. I agree.
That's where we'll be.
Yep. You got to at least get it to primer.
That's right. Well, Dave, for the final bit of shop talk tonight, we're going to do our last item from Steve Anderson's book, A Guided Journal for Modelers. And it's one that we've talked a little bit about in the past, kind of on the fringe, but what build is worthy of a do-over that we've already done?
That's a great question. And I've got a couple answers. A Tamiya Zero, I've already built a couple of them. I want to build many more. So that's not exactly a do-over.
No.
That's not exactly a do-over. Last year in 2024, I built the LCM 3 kit.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'd like to do that again. I think I could do it much better. And it's an attractive subject that I learned a lot about. And I didn't put everything I learned about into the model itself. So I can see myself wanting to do that as a do-over. How about you? Do you have something you want to do over?
There were points on the E16 I wished I could have started over, knowing how to do things, but I don't think that's in the spirit here. There's two ways to look at it. It could be something recent that I've, had some disappointment in.
Right.
And the thing what I mentioned, we had talked about this kind of on the fringe, is really rolling back the tape and building something either that I've built as a quote unquote serious modeler that's still in my display case, even if it's 30 years old, right. Or some nostalgia thing I built and mucked up as a kid that I still have. I don't have any of those, so we can't pick that one. I've mentioned, I've got a little diorama of a SDKFZ 222 in Poland in 1939.
Yep.
And if time were not an issue, I would like to consider taking a new kit, because that's the old Tamiya kit from the early 70s.
Right.
There's new kits of that vehicle. There's new figures, etc., and build what is essentially the exact same vignette or diorama, but showcase better models and hopefully better talent.
Gotcha.
And just see how they're different.
Yeah.
If I could snap my fingers and have it, that'd be a really cool comparison, but there's a lot of work to get to that one. So I don't know if it's something I would actually do. I think our last guest, Tim, would really poo-poo on this idea.
Okay.
Because I think it's straight ahead forward. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. I think it going back and doing something a second time could be construed as, well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I won't even finish that thought. I don't know. I don't think if I really like the subject, it would make sense. But just to do it over, I think I'd rather do something different. I'd like to do something. I would like to apply what I learned on a different subject and just take my lumps on that one.
Right.
I think that's where I'd be at. Anything else you'll talk about for Shop Talk, Dave?
Nope. I think that's it.
Model builders know Bases by Bill as the place to find one-man army paint masks, and now there are even more to choose from. The newest releases include the new Kotari Messerschmitt BF109K4 set, along with 11 other fresh additions, all available now and all with free shipping. When your project's complete, show it off with a display base from Bases by Bill. Choose from Japanese and U.S. carrier decks or airfield-style bases perfect for any aircraft. Every base is available in popular scales from 1/144th up to 1/32nd, and all are crafted with precision and care. And for something truly special, Bases by Bill creates custom hardwood bases with engraved or full-color placards, unit emblems, and national insignia, the perfect finishing touch for your next showpiece. Visit basesbybill.com because there's always something new at Bases by Bill.
Well, now we can talk a little bit more in detail about what we've been doing, Dave, instead of hinting about it.
Okay.
Benchtop halftime report.
All
It's
right.
a dark time. I don't have high expectations from you, but hopefully you can lay something on the table.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in the middle of decaling the F6F, the Edward kit that I bought in 2012 with the intention of building it immediately. The Furball Aero design decals are, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, really, really good. So far, the decaling process has been fairly painless. My real challenge is that, in this dark time, that I get very limited modeling available to me. And so in fact, I did a calculation. Probably the last 3 weeks, I probably have not gotten more than 2 hours a week in modeling or bench time for actual modeling. And so that's why things are moving as slow as they are. But I'm making progress. Also making a little progress on the SAM with the oil weathering. That kit is so close to being done. It's not finished. Or it's not funny, but
If you take that one a section at a time, that's something you can go down there and work on 15, 20 minutes at a time.
yeah, I need about a half an hour at least minimum time to do that. But yes, you're right. The problem is the temptation there is that it's close to done, but there's a lot of things I want to do with it to really push the weathering effects and the stuff that I'm learning. So I don't want to just finish it. I want to resist the temptation to simply just finish it to be able to call it finished. I did manage to get all of my Mr. Color paints in the Paint Rack app on my phone. So I now have a complete inventory of the Mr. Color paints, which have become my go-to paints, and also gives me an opportunity to see what I need to buy to round out my collection. That app is very useful, and it's helping me get organized, and getting organized is one of the things I want to do. Other than that, there are actually cobwebs here in the hobby room up in the corners because I'm not here. I'm not getting down here enough, and I need to get down here more. So hopefully the dark time won't completely close me off between now and the end of the year, or now and the beginning of the year, but we'll see.
Expect some progress, man. Come on.
Yep, I'm working on it, man. Same with you. What's up?
The fuel drum straps still elude me. So I was like, just, all right, let's not think about that. Let's do something else. So over the last week or so, I've been putting together the topside intake screens for the KV85.
Yes, you've posted a couple of times on the dojo.
That was one of those deals where I spent a lot of time thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Figured out what kind of jig I needed to make it, to increase my chance of success. And folks who've seen it on the dojo, they came out pretty stinking good. I'm pretty pleased with them.
Good. So your jig plan,
all that worked out. Yep. We talked about being confident again. I still, one area that I have confidence, well, less confidence than I would like, is using CA adhesives.
Yeah.
I don't know why this thing's, it's a handling issue, I think.
Yeah.
I just have an aversion from that, but if that's what you need, that's what you need.
Exactly.
And there's no way around it, really. And I guess I came up the confidence curve a little bit with the CAs this time, but the jigs were certainly my friend, and those really helped things get aligned. And made it easy to put the things together. It really, really went really smoothly. I was really, really happy the way this turned out. So now those get to sit around while I finish the rest of the tank and start painting, because they're not even going to get attached to the model until at least the base coating's done.
Yeah.
Other than that, a little on the Musaru, not much. I really need to get a big bunch of parts into the paint booth and finish those up. It's been mostly the intake screens on the KV85. I did do some seam filling today. Those saddles for the fuel tanks I just mentioned, there are some gaps where they're glued onto the fenders that if I didn't fill them, if I start the weathering process, any wash I put on is just going to get sucked under them and disappear. So yeah, I've done the heavy application of Mr. Surfacer 500, let it dry, then take Mr. Color leveling thinner on a pointed cotton bud and brush all that out. And, there's some places I got to go back and add a second application to, because there's some pinholes and stuff in it. But it's just a solid technique that usually fixes stuff like that. And,
it really does.
It didn't let me down.
Well, good.
So hopefully I think I've got a compromise position I can live with on the straps for those fuel drums. So I got to build one for real and see if that's going to work like I think it is. And if I can get that moving forward, man, this thing should close pretty quick. There's some grab irons that for the tank mounted infantry to use that need to go on the back of the tank. Those are easy to fab up.
I was going to say, I
just need to do it. Really, after that, there's not much left.
Well, good.
So
that's great news.
So that's where I'm at on the bench top, Dave.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll have more to report in 2 weeks.
Plastic Model Mojo is brought to you by Squadron. Head on over to squadron.com for the latest in kits and accessories, all at a great price and with great service. Squadron, adding to the stash since 1968.
So, Mike, have you bought anything modeling related in the last couple of weeks?
I don't think so, Dave. I really don't. I don't think I have. I think I already mentioned the mesh I got in for the screens, which I've used now to good effect. That worked out. No kits. The last kits I got were the TIE Fighter and that stuff. We already talked about that. So I think I've been a good boy, Dave. I don't think I've spent much money other than what did I go buy? I went to Hobbytown, USA, and I bought spray primer. That's it. Spray primer.
Okay.
Not much, man. What about you?
I've actually been a good boy, too. I have not acquired any kits, nor have I acquired any books. I did, at the suggestion of several of the listeners, go out and pick up some of the 3M Post-it note tape in a couple of different widths to use on some very quick panel masking and stuff.
Well, you didn't talk about that any.
No, I didn't, but I think I talked about it previously. Well, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I had used Tamiya tape, and somebody had suggested, this 3M. I've used Post-it notes before to do quick masking, and a couple of the listeners have suggested that 3M tape. So I picked some of that up. Other than that, I haven't bought a model. Haven't bought a book. Other than the 3M tape, I don't think I bought any supplies.
We have to come up with a different segment.
I've been a good boy too.
Well, I've put some, like you put a gift certificate on your wish list. I've put some eBay gift cards on mine. So maybe after the holidays, this segment will be worth listening to, folks.
I'm anticipating that there will be purchases after Christmas.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, man. I know what I didn't buy this season.
What?
Christmas lights.
Well, that's good, because usually they don't. You get them out from the previous year, and half of them are dead.
Not this year.
Really? That's great.
Plastic Model Mojo is brought to you by Model Paint Solutions, your source for Harder and Steenbeck airbrushes, David Union power tools, and laboratory-grade mixing, measuring, and storage tools for use with all your model paints, be they acrylic, enamels, or lacquers. Check them out at www.modelpaintsolutions.com.
Folks, at this point in the podcast, we would ask you, when you're done listening, to please rate the podcast in whatever podcasting app you're listening to. Give us the highest rating. It helps drive visibility to the podcast, helps us grow. In addition, the best way for us to grow is to have a current listener tell somebody who's not currently listening about the podcast. We would appreciate it if you would reach out to your modeling friends and let them know about Plastic Model Mojo and recommend to them that they listen.
In addition to that, folks, please check out the other podcasts in the model sphere. You can do that by going to www.modelpodcasts.com. That's modelpodcastplural.com. It's a consortium website set up by Stuart Clark, the host of the Scale Model Podcast up in Canada. Hopefully he comes off hiatus here soon. We'd like to hear some more from Stu. He's aggregated the banner links to all the current podcasts in the model sphere, and you can go there as a one-stop shop and check them all out. In addition, we got a lot of blog and YouTube friends in the model sphere. Mentioned Jeff Groves quite a bit, Inch High Guy. He's got a great 1/72nd scale blog. Paul Budzik, for sure, Scale Model Workshop on YouTube and Patreon. In fact, I just pointed somebody to his Patreon page last week, so hopefully he's seeing some traction there. Chris Wallace, Model Airplane Maker, has got a great blog and a great YouTube channel for you aircraft guys. Stephen Lee, Sprue Pie with Frets, a great long and short form blog, some model railroading stuff, and a lot of 72nd scale modeling of quite a lot of genres, actually.
Yep.
And finally, Evan McCallum, Panzermeister 36, who just today or yesterday dropped another video.
Yes, he did.
And folks need to go check that out. So please support our friends in the community and check out all the great content.
Finally, if you're not a member of IPMS USA, I'd ask you to join. I'm the Recruitment and Retention Secretary of IPMS USA. This will be my last term, and I would like to go out on a high note. So if you're not a member, please join. Also, if you're not a member of your national IPMS organization in the country in which you live, please consider joining. In addition, the Armor Modeling Preservation Society is dedicated to armor modeling and post-1900 figures modeling. Please consider joining. They're a great group of guys who really are passionate about advancing the art of armor modeling. Go ahead and join if you can.
There's been some chatter online about them trying to add, or not trying, but considering adding another skill level category between AMPS Master and Advanced.
I think that it's advisable for them to revamp their system. It's been in place for a long time, and I think it probably could benefit just from a refresh.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll figure something out that works for everybody. But at least they're considering it.
Mike, we are almost at the end of the episode. My modeling fluid is empty. I assume yours is, or is close to it.
Mine's empty.
So how was the Mictors?
It's good. It's a high rye. So it's kind of like the Bullet, maybe even a little spicier.
Yep.
So it's a little hot, I think. I like it, but it's at my limit probably for a little spice and heat, unless you go to a full blown rye, I don't drink a lot of those. So
yeah, I'm the same way.
It's good. I've had it before. I'll have it again, but it's not one I grab very often.
Gotcha.
Well, how's the beer?
Well, Mr. Clark did a fine job. The Tangerine Kolsch from Yellowhammer Brewing, alcohol by volume's 5%, so it's a classic middle-of-the-road beer. As far as alcohol content, basically the equivalent of any mass-market American beer you'd buy. It's very smooth. You can taste the tangerine, but it's not obnoxiously forward. You can tell it's a Kolsch. It has those notes in it. A good beer, definitely something that I'd sit down at a microbrewery and drink again. Mike, we're now at the end of the episode. And do you have any shout outs before we get out of here?
Well, as always, I want to shout out the folks who've chosen to support Plastic Model Mojo through their generosity. We've had a lot of support over 2025 and it's greatly appreciated. It helped us get the least the phase 1 of the website launched, and we're going to be trying to get phase 2, I guess, launched in 2026. That would be a good goal for us. So if folks have been considering that and haven't done it yet, but like to help us out with these kind of things, we'd appreciate the support. The avenues of support are all outlined on the website, and in the show notes of this episode, there's a support the show link on our webpage, www.plasticmodelmojo.com. So folks, it's just been great, the amount of support we've got, and we look forward to it continuing in 2026, and hopefully we can bring you even more.
My shout out of the episode is to all of the listeners. This is our 2025 wrap-up show, and I want to thank everybody who has listened, who continues to listen. To all of the new listeners, we're glad you found us. You're a great group of guys, and it's a community that I didn't know I needed, and I now couldn't live without. And I really appreciate sincerely each and every one of you, particularly those of you who take the time to reach out to Mike and I and to provide us with your feedback, with information, with affirmation. We really appreciate it. Also, we appreciate everybody's participation in the dojo. That has become just the place I go every day when I need a little happiness, when I need a little boost. I know that I can go to the dojo and see what's been posted lately, and it's going to bring a little joy into my life no matter what else is going on. So thank you to you, the listeners.
Well, Dave, we're getting close to being done with 2025, but we're not quite there yet.
I know.
So until then, Dave, as we always say,
so many kids.
So little time, my friend, and we'll see you before the year's out.
Yep.